The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
What? She filed for divorce, but she don't want a divorce, and she's still in love with her husband? Lord have mercy. Guys, this is why you can't follow women, man. This is why you can't follow women, because they make decisions based on emotion. They don't know what they're talking about half the time. They're just thinking about how they feel in the moment, man. You can't follow a woman. You got to follow your own masculine identity. You got to know who you are as a man. And I suspect that in this relationship, she was dealing with a man that didn't have a strong masculine identity because he didn't influence her enough. Because if she never met a man like him before, she never loved a man like him before, why would she file for a divorce if his influence through his masculine identity was strong? If he led the marriage as he should, chances are she wouldn't have filed for divorce. If he understood his value, more than likely she would have followed his influence and his lead, and she would have fully understood his value, and she would not have filed for divorce. But now she's sitting here an emotional wreck. I can only assume, but I'm making an educated assumption that it was this man's lack of leadership that caused her to actually file for the divorce. There was something weak about his game. There was something weak about his masculine identity. There was something weak about his leadership. And there was definitely a lack of influence that caused her to ultimately file for this divorce. Not to mention the fact that if we break a lot of things down when it comes to relationships and the different stages, because see, a lot of people don't realize the importance of marriage, right? A lot of people just do things in stages based on protocols of life. They're not really focused on their own identity and what they truly want for themselves. They're just focused on the protocols of life. So, for example, if you understand the protocols of life, you got kindergarten, then you got elementary, middle school, high school, then you go to college, then you get married, have kids, then you divorce. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's a process and not really a goal. It's like, well, we're just going through the processes of life. That's just how it works. Because a lot of times people are not doing things because they truly want to do it. They're doing it because they've been indoctrinated into a particular protocol. So what's the next step? What's the next logical step after marriage if you're just following protocol? The next logical step after marriage, if you're simply following protocol, is divorce. And in a lot of situations, if the man is not influencing the relationship, if he is not influencing and leading his wife as he should, he's going to fall victim to following protocol instead of being influenced and led properly by the man. This is why, as men, we got to have a strong masculine identity. We have to do things with a purpose. So that means as a man, I'm not going to marry a woman simply because it's the next logical step in life. I'm going to marry that woman because I truly want her to have my last name, because I want to build some type of legacy with her, because I want her to be my wife and ultimately the mother of my children, because I want a family and I want her to be the queen, the matriarch of my empire, of my kingdom. There has to be a purpose. There has to be a reason to these things. If we are simply following protocol based on societal norms and the logic of society, then all relationships will ultimately end up in divorce, because that is the logical step. But if we are doing it for a purpose, based on our own identity, and a man decides to give a woman his last name because of purpose, because of a purpose and a vision that he sees for his own life. And he's able to lead and influence that woman properly based on his masculine identity. There is a higher chance of them having a healthy marriage for the long run. This is why a masculine identity is so important, because you can change the trajectory of people's lives, including your wife, your children, and ultimately your community and society at large. As men, we are the natural leaders in all situations. So we must carry ourselves a certain way. We must move with purpose and not protocols set by other people. We must do things because we choose to do them based on what we know about our masculine identity. And therefore, anyone that we are close to benefits from that purpose. And we must choose a woman who understands the value of the purpose, who understands the value of our masculine identity, and who chooses to enhance our journey, who chooses to support our vision, who chooses to submit to our influence because she understands the caliber and the value of the man that we are. But in order for any woman to understand the caliber and the value of the men that we are, we also have to first understand the caliber and the value of the men that we are. We have to understand the value of our masculine identity. And then we meet a woman who also understands it, who can be influenced by it because she wants to be. And then she helps enhance the journey. And we move forward into the future with purpose and a vision based on that man's leadership. So many times, this is what happens in relationships. And this is what causes breakups and divorces, because a lot of times there was no value, there was no purpose, there was no leadership from the very beginning. Because when a man knows who he is, he chooses the woman that is going to enhance his journey, not just somebody to marry because that's the next logical societal step. He's not going to choose a chick just to marry just because of the indoctrination. He's going to have his own influence, his own vision for his future. And he is going to influence that woman to be a part of that future if she chooses to be influenced. And once she makes that choice and he vets her and realizes that she is an asset to his vision, that she is an enhancement to his journey, then and only then will it make sense to give her his last name. Then and only then will it make sense for him to give her his seed so she can be the mother of his children, to expand his kingdom and his legacy. Okay, so we have to understand how important and valuable our masculine identity is. Knowing who we are as men is very important, not only for us, but for women, children, community, and society at large. All right, so it's your boy, Miles Cunningham. Hope you got something from this video. Hope you're having a great day. Be good to yourself, be grateful, and remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.